I'll see you in Valhalla.
Tremble. Will he perform when he has money right in front of him? Run up on that boy and kill his cousin right in front of him. I just tapped his shoulder so I know that he is touchable. Put 30 in my chop and then I turned him to a Huxtable. Came a long way from pre-K and eating Lunchables. I just took your life and as you know it's unrefundable. When you up the Smith then you should never feel uncomfortable. Don't waste any time bro, just turn him to a vegetable. Do the job right or you are surely going federal. Go knock on some wood but I just feel I did incredible. How many shots were fired? I don't know but more than several. I thought it was just him, I can't believe it was a bunch of them. Brody did him dirty, hit him up and now I'm stomping him. I know a lot of demons, I can summon any one of them. Bodies holding bodies, it was as if they were cuddling. Will he perform when he has money right in front of him? Run up on that boy and kill his cousin right in front of him. I just tapped his shoulder so I know that he is touchable. Put 30 in my chop and then I turned him to a Huxtable. Came a long way from pre-K and eating Lunchables. I just took your life and as you know it's unrefundable. When you up the Smith then you should never feel uncomfortable. I was watching him outside his house, he's getting comfortable. I was trying to make sure that my Glock was undiscoverable. You were popping it and now just look at what we've done to you. Peter Piper picked a pack of bullets, now they're touching you. I was coaching up a team of shotters, now they're rushing you. I just threw your life inside a toilet, now I'm flushing you. If I think you wrong one of my homies, I will punish you. Will he perform when he has money right in front of him? Run up on that boy and kill his cousin right in front of him. I just tapped his shoulder so I know that he is touchable. Put 30 in my chop and then I turned him to a Huxtable. Came a long way from pre-K and eating Lunchables. I just took your life and as you know it's unrefundable. When you up the Smith then you should never feel uncomfortable. Will he perform when he has money right in front of him? Will he perform when he has money right in front of him?
You're playing Minecraft in the cave looking for diamonds. That's funny, I'm in the same cave looking for miners. Cause my sexual attraction to miners is major. Can't even play hopscotch without popping a rager. Always been a pervert, so I accept the insults. When I was a kid, I fucking molested adults. Till you on head, dead, wang, and moist, hypocritical. If you bitches think I give a motherfucking shit if y'all get me banned again, y'all back you smoking.
I'll see you in Valhalla.
Well, I got the money, so let's start now. Let's just fucking say fuck it and start now, right? All right. So hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm gonna ask that everybody else who is in this, be quiet for just a second while I introduce. I hope that everybody can hear me well. Yeah, I'm using OBS for the first time because my Streamlabs was constantly like fucking up and it was screwing up my audio. So welcome everybody. Welcome to something very, very big. Biggest thing my streaming career has ever had here. We're going to be reacting to the Parlo video. The Parlo video is not released. It is not out. But we are going to be watching it and we're going to be critiquing it. And yeah, so I honestly, let's just get fucking straight into it. I will say we do have a couple of people on here with us who are going to be helping with this criticism commentary. We've got Take 9, we've got Spendling, and we have the editor of Parlo's video himself, aka, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Cormac.
Okay. Do you have anything that you want us to know going in?
I am an editor. That's it. And I'm only here because I share the same goal as Parlo, basically.
Yeah, that's fine. I meant more like about the video, but
about the video.
Yeah, the video.
All I can say is just watch the intro. The intro just basically speaks for itself anyway.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's fucking get into it. All right. Let me get this.
Over the course.
Make sure you're screen sharing as well.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. All right. Let me make sure that it's up on mine first. We did have to download it. Okay. So, okay. I just realized it'd be a window capture, not. Okay, great. So, I'm gonna full screen that. Okay. We're just getting this all set so we don't have to worry about anything, guys. All right. Great. So, and then this right here. Awesome. Let's go. Let's fucking go, guys. Here we go.
Over the course of the past decade, Pyrocynical, also known as Nile, has consistently gotten away with inappropriately engaging with numerous alleged
Screen share. Right. And he's already showing some screenshots. Awesome. All right.
significantly younger than himself while he was an adult. His response
I'm making myself smaller too. I'm gonna put myself over here so I don't obscure anything.
video to the initial allegations posed
Sorry, what?
by Ivory, created over 4 years ago, while at first may have seemed as a cohesive defense, actually in reality served to muddy the waters of the situation and was in fact riddled with many lies, in which this video will entirely address. My document, in which I have created comprehensively going over this situation, has been split into numerous videos. This video will highlight how Pyrocynical had consistently lied to his viewers and will prove him to be a compulsive manipulator.
Okay, so we need, we're already going to need a little bit of insider baseball here. So originally this was going to be multiple videos. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, but so is this video all of the original videos, like, or was he planning on making a follow-up to this?
Yeah, he was planning on making follow-ups.
Okay, so the original plan was follow-ups. Got it. Okay.
Who engaged inappropriately with while he was an adult. This video will highlight how degenerate Pyrocynical's dynamic with Ivory actually was, with Pyrocynical continuing to message Ivory after he knew him to be 16, while he himself was 20, and despite Pyrocynical using the age of consent justification to excuse the 4-year age gap, it will also highlight succinctly how the dynamic between them was, as well as the pattern of Pyrocynical having posted content to Ivory over the course of well over a year, which was illegal in Ivory's state of Pennsylvania. It will also highlight examples of Ivory and Pyrocynical attempting to commission furry content of their characters together, as well as role-playing with one another, despite Pyrocynical using a Discord script to systematically wipe and delete his messages as to not incriminate himself. This video will also highlight how Pyrocynical most likely knew that Ivory was a long before he claims to have known, with numerous statements Ivory made serving to be distinct red flags indicating that he was. And despite these red flags...
Wait, hold on. Let's look at the red flags. Why are you buffering? What are you doing? What are you doing, bud?
He knew that Ivory was a long before he claims to have known, with numerous statements...
I already don't think that you can definitively say that. You can certainly speculate. I don't know that you can definitively say that. You generally have to be 18 and get past doorman. Okay, that's fair. But I don't know about the age itself.
Ivory made, serving to be distinct red flags in...
I'll ask about it. My mom doesn't want me to get anything until the school year's over. So he still could have been in high school.
Indicating that he was... And
okay, and so the argument he's making there isn't that he didn't know the age, period. It's that he knew that he was a minor, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Despite these red flags being present, it did not dissuade Pyrocynical from engaging in topics to do with Ivory's life and his experiences. This video will also prove that the French girl existed, and that Pyrocynical had dated the girl, named Luan, when she was years of age, and her age was publicly known on Twitter and attested by her in an interview she had with Keemstar. This was all while Pyrocynical himself was 18 years of age in 2015, as detailed by Luan. Most importantly, Pyrocynical stated he would wait for Luan to turn 16, the legal age of consent in the UK, to then engage in a proper relationship with her while he would have been 20, which is a massive red flag and clearly indicative of... This video will highlight how Pyrocynical actively lied to his fanbase for over 6 years, claiming that the girl never existed and that Keemstar was a liar, to then being caught by Keemstar with Twitter message logs proving that he was in...
Happy to wait for you to hit 16. You didn't the law. There were too many people stalking us to get info from us. Then you didn't give a shit. So I ended the relationship so they wouldn't attack you or me anymore. OTBH, they didn't ever attack me, and they had no proof to attack you, XD. You attacked them on Twitter, which added fuel to the fire.
Direct contact with her, to which Pyrocynical then responded on Reddit, conceding that the girl was real, however lying about the age gap dynamic, and lying about never having a relationship with her, to once again manipulate his fanbase and to lie directly to their faces. And finally, this video will also highlight how Pyrocynical at the age of 19 pushed a 15-year-old girl that he knew the age of to create for a art of his character, and severely downplayed the situation in his response video, attempting to claim that the image was not despite it being evidently suggestive, containing a disproportionate parts with hyperfixation around the region, and with it posing in a position. Victims have been harassed, silenced, victim blamed.
Whoa. Pyro admitted to not knowing that Ivory was a minor because he snuck into an 18+ Discord server. He eventually did learn that he was a minor, but by that point had stopped ERPing for quite some time. Pyro really does have an exemption. It was an 18+ roleplay server.
And ultimately been too.
I want no part of whatever you have. I don't want to risk getting harassed by Pyro's fan. Okay, so this is just proof of like people who spoke out against Pyro getting harassed.
Afraid to come out regarding Niall's actions due to the harassment often instigated from his fanbase. So this video serves as part 1, followed by others to come. All the videos that will come out will serve to unilaterally correct the record and cover many more allegations that are currently unknown to the public, and cover and substantiate a lot of victims' allegations. This specific video will prove that Pyrocynical lied to his fanbase for many years and actively manipulated them. So now I bring you the Pyrocynical files.
Near future, let me just say this right now. I am calling it right now, okay? Pyrocynical is going down, okay? This time for real, okay? Pyrocynical is gonna get caught doing some nasty.
Your friend, your buddy came out and lied multiple times on Reddit about that scenario.
Okay, I mean, he's already an open degenerate. There's no telling what he's capable of, okay? Pyrocynical is gonna go down.
There was a long history of degenerate, unjustifiable behavior from Pyrocynical. This story is far from over.
Now, Ivory Rasmus was once a close associate of Pyrocynical's, having originally started speaking to Niall as of the 11th of November 2016, up until Ivory made his infamous call-out post on October the 29th, 2020, accusing Pyrocynical of having taken of him when he was 15, and Niall...
Dude, you guys gotta get a better fucking sensor sound. The clicking's killing me.
...was 19. As a result of the drama that followed, the end result left many people to believe that Ivory was a clout-chasing liar, prompting them to tarnish his reputation and spread numerous examples of misinformation regarding his experiences. People flocking to Niall's defense attempt to claim that Pyrocynical was completely innocent and he unilaterally never knew Ivory's age and that Ivory purposely withheld it. This is all a categorical lie. Pyrocynical admits in his own response video that he knew Ivory was 16, once Ivory linked his Twitter account with his age present in bio, clearly stating he was 16 on July the 5th, 2017, when Niall himself would have been 20.
When Ivory linked me his Twitter profile, the age in bio says 16. This is something I acknowledged in my Reddit post, but to be fair, I probably didn't elaborate enough on it. In retrospect, I never should have continued the furry stuff with him once I learnt of his age, even though at the time, I didn't see it as a problem.
This admission goes overlooked by the majority of people because Pyrocynical waited until 9 minutes in his response video to state this. Pyro had even admitted verbatim that once he learnt of Ivory being 16 years old, while he himself was 20, he still continued to engage with him nonetheless, even after knowing him to be a significantly younger than himself, and this can be corroborated by numerous Discord messages in which I will cover and highlight in
Such a good boy.
this video.
Imagine the sweat, how musky it must be. Okay, dude. Okay.
By Niall attempting to mass wipe his messages.
Okay, yeah, that's him
to cover his
requesting the script to
consistency
wipe
in these
it.
degenerate conversations.
But let me be very clear. I had absolutely no idea that he was 15.
Pyrocynical's only actual defense in this entire situation was that he simply didn't know Ivory's age when he was 15 at the start of their conversations, when he himself would have been 19. According to him, he only knew Ivory's age to be 16 when it was specified on July the 5th, 2017, and that is a very important date to remember. However, as we'll discuss later on in this video, this defense has numerous red flags and contradictions, as Ivory clearly made it known he was below the age of 18 far before Pyrocynical claimed to have known that he was 16 in his response video. And Pyrocynical's plausible deniability excuse where he claimed that he could not have possibly seen the numerous tweets made by Ivory where he clearly stated he was 15.
Yeah, wow, okay. Yeah, I forgot how many tweets there were just like him literally saying he's 15.
He was suspended on Twitter during the same time frame and therefore couldn't access the platform turns out to be a lie as well. Now, the age gap between both Ivory and Pyrocynical was 3 years, 11 months, 7 days, with a borderline 4-year age gap between them, with Pyrocynical being more than aware of Ivory's date of birth, which was not only specified directly to him when Ivory was seen venting about drama that he was finding himself on his birthday by showing Twitter messages he was receiving by a user named Eli having clearly been sent on the 21st of April, but it was also public knowledge with him clearly having it presented on his Twitter bio. So when Pyrocynical claimed to have initially known Ivory's age as of July the 5th, 2017, after taking into consideration his date of birth, he was clearly able to decipher that Ivory was 16 years 2 months old, and that there was a borderline 4-year age gap between them.
Okay. I don't know. Is that a stretch? I don't know. Like, I would...
What do you think is a stretch?
It's just like, do we really think that Pyro's paying that much attention to this stuff where he like would really put together like, oh, he had a birthday recently, so that means he's 16. Like, I don't know. I feel like that puts a lot of impetus on him being like this, calculating guy. I don't know. I just feel like that there's still like some level of plausible deniability there, right? Like that's all I'm saying.
You could say that, but it's 11 months, and that's like really close to 4 years.
No, so it's very much like a 4-year age gap, right? Like, I mean, that part, like that, nothing what I'm saying right now, like, changes that, right? I'm only saying that, it's, I think to say that he like definitively knew that like that was the age gap. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that part. Like, I think that, obviously, yes, they did mention their birthday previously, but like, I don't know is he going to put those pieces together? Is he that calculating that immediately when he sees that he's 16, he's going to be like, oh, well, he said that he had his birthday a while ago, and that means he just turned 16.
Well, it's only a matter of...
I just think that this needs to be as airtight as possible. That's my only point.
As Pyrocynical was 20 years 1 month old himself, and yet he still continued to inappropriately engage with Ivory regardless. It is important to take into consideration that developmentally, a 16-year-old and 20-year-old are in completely different life stages as well. There is a distinct maturity difference present in a 4-year age gap, and it is also important to highlight the power dynamic in play here as well. Ivory made it known that he was a large fan of Pyrocynical, and Niall played into that dynamic. He used his position to behave with Ivory, who looked up to him and was complicit in engaging with this fantasies, and that behavior is unilaterally looked down upon across the online community and is inherently immoral and unjustifiable.
That's true.
Somehow, though, Niall has received consistent defense and belittlement for his actions, despite other creators such as Squimbus McGwimbus' case being strikingly similar. Squimbus was a popular Five Nights at Freddy's content creator who was initially 17 years old when he was seen discussing based subjects to a 4-year-old and posting based content to their DMs. This behavior lasted up until he was 20 and the was 16.
Say that? What's that?
Those
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
clicks are killing.
No, I know the clicks are killing me too, man. Like, all you have to do is not put a fucking sound in there, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
This was unilaterally condemned by the online community, resulting in Squimbus being ostracized from the platform that he once had. Oddly enough, however, despite the situation bearing an exact comparison to the Pyrocynical situation, Pyrocynical has managed to escape relatively unscathed. The argument Squimbus had made that based discussions were not inherently as well was immediately discredited by the original post.
Pausing.
Okay, so like, would you suggest for the final project that I just cut the clicks out entirely?
Yes, I would. I absolutely would. I would literally just have it like be like, you know, either a muffle of what he's saying, and if that's not safe enough, I would just do no sound. I also don't know how I feel about bringing Squimpus into it. I mean, I guess it's a parallel. I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I don't think he needs to go into this much detail about Squimpus. I think that that's a little unnecessary. I think that you can just draw the parallel and move on.
Of the allegations too on Twitter, the double standard is glaring and couldn't be more obvious. The age gap between both Ivory and Pyrocynical is inherently. And not only does Pyrocynical claim in his own response video that at the time he didn't acknowledge a 4-year age gap as significant enough, but he is also seen attempting to use the age of consent laws of his country, the United Kingdom, and Ivory's state of Pennsylvania to once again belittle the severity of the situation and to try and justify it.
Legally, age of consent is 16 in both my country and his state. I didn't consider the age gap significant enough because what we were talking about and doing was so far removed from actual.
Age of consent is 16 in most states. Age of consent, man, that's not what you need to go by.
Age of consent laws do not now morally justify the age gap dynamic present, and its defense, regardless, falls flat when taking into consideration that the age of consent laws do not cover Pyrocynical for the fact that he consistently posted furry to Ivory after admitting that he knew that he was a following July the 5th, 2017, but continuing nonetheless. Okay. Ivory State, Pennsylvania, comprehensively states that the dissemination or distribution of content to a under the age of 18 is illegal regardless of age of consent laws. Content can be considered any drawing with opaque clothing or focus around the area or specifically as well the
this is small, but like I think you need to turn down the music in this section a little bit.
Content Pyrocynical would send would appeal to Ivory's interest while he was still a. This is specifically established as another factor that would define it as harmful and content, ergo illegal to have posted to Ivory. Ivory is also seen attesting this himself and that he made a police report in regards to it. So not only was the dynamic but it was also illegal. Now, despite Discord mobile recordings of Pyrocynical contacting a user named Faf9 on how to use a Discord script to comprehensively purge messages, and having wiped a considerable portion of his DMs with Ivory, to which Ivory attests to Ida being Pyrocynical's girlfriend in 2020, it is still relatively easy to decipher exactly what took place, and this needs to be taken into account moving forward when analysing the remnants of the Discord conversations that I'm going to highlight. Just because Pyrocynical purged Discord messages does not now limit his culpability in this situation. It's clear he systematically removed messages for a reason. In the messages provided by Ivory on video, you can see that Ivory has been pressed by Pyrocynical to remove specific messages that he had
discussing how to delete DMs due to Pyro pressuring him to do so. Okay, I mean, so this is going to be where I start having problems. Okay, I'm going to read these before I give my full, like, opinion here, but, like, that, you can't make stretches here. You cannot make stretches, okay? Like, that's important with this. Like, let's read them first. Has he done that before? I'll enable two-factor and delete combos. Yeah, I've been kind of worried about it, TBH. I just saw he was being a I don't know. And he was in your server and thought blank, someone wants to feel dominant, and then blank. He's apparently trying to suck up blank. Do you still talk to Niall? And it's blank buddy. So I thought I'd send it to you in case you didn't know. Wait, Niall. I can't delete DMs without manually going through, and you'd have to delete your messages too. So I thought I'd send it to you in case you didn't know. Okay. Yeah, the only option to delete combos is to close DMs, but every time you go to messages to message me, it loads everything else. I don't know. Unless I see more, there's no proof that he's pressuring him here. Like, that, this is just stuff that, like, I mean, Parlo should know better than anybody that Pyro is a slimy fuck, and he's going to use every occasion that he can where there's not direct proof to push back on stuff, right? And so, like, stuff like this is just that you can't fucking do this, right? Also, with that situation, if I'm correct on this one, I know that there was somebody who had previously been, like, either harassing or maybe even doxed, like, Pyro's old Skype. And I think that that's what they're talking about in this conversation when he refers to those messages in particular, like somebody wants to feel dominant. And I mean, another interpretation of that is that, you know, fucking Ivory could have gotten paranoid about it and wanted to delete messages as well. Like, I'm just saying, this is not definitive. You can't just jump to that conclusion that he was pressuring him without proof of that.
Sent, as Ivory was seen mentioning he didn't know how to in response. Pyrocynical consulting about removing their messages.
He did that shit to me knowing I was 15, so this is a different guy. Here, this can be us. Which one would you be, though? Pyro, you have to be the one on the left. Go on Skype now and delete this DM. From what I understand, prior to his deleting Discord account, he went through manually deleting everything incriminating or anything incriminating, and then used a bot to completely wipe specific logs with people so he was actually concerned about. So there still are some DMs left, but it's all pretty uninteresting. I mean, that's really not the case with Ivory, but...
is seen throughout other allegations too, and shows a comprehensive pattern of Niall attempting to hide and conceal his behaviour. Such examples were seen in his DMs with Trippy Fox in 2016 when he was 15, or his behaviour to another 15-year-old boy named Saku2.
Okay, and all this was in 2017, so Pyro would have been 19. He should include that. He should include that because that's, you know, you gotta treat the audience like they're retards just a little bit.
Hide and conceal his behaviour. Such examples were seen in his DMs with Trippy Fox in 2016 when he was 15, or his behaviour to another 15-year-old boy named
Cheeky bump, hee hee, Pyrocynical, funny best friend screenshot. You did it, you're doing God's work. Thank you, Lord Jesus. My best friend Pyrocynical, so funny. Ha ha ha. Bro, DMs got me laughing all night, bro. Yeah. Okay. Racial discrimination. Come back inward hard R. Okay, Pyrocynical, this is harassment and I will be contacting the authorities. I've run out of shit to post, so I've just resorted to posting painfully unfunny DM conversations with Parlo. I mean, Pyro, sorry.
Saku2, where Niall was seen mass purging his...
There's not really much else left. Yeah, he keeps adding me to call, asking me if I can call him B stuff. You have an unhealthy obsession. I do not. You're probably into traps or something. Get help, Pyrocynical. No, get fucking weed. Here he sent me some funny inflation porn before the you have an unhealthy obsession, but it's not super obvious since he deleted it. He would just send it randomly. Okay. That's where he allegedly sent it. Here he sent me some furry inflation. Okay, yeah. Got it.
Messages, but that will be all covered in a separate video.
I mean, can we be real? Is that ever going to happen? Because I think he should just, like, talk about all of this stuff. I feel like he should just talk about all of it in one video. Like, sorry, go ahead.
All of it in one video, but, like, this video is, like, if we talk about all of this in one video, it's probably going to be, like, 4 or 5 hours long.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to trim the fat. Let's be honest. Like, he didn't have to talk about Squimpus that long. Like, he needs to be concise with this stuff. Like, I'm just saying, like, the truth is, and I told Parlo this last night, you only get one shot at, like, making a definitive, like, blow to this guy, right? You can't make it a series. You have one shot at definitively doing this. It needs to be concise, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be understandable. And you know, you're probably going to get 1/10 of the audience, like, actually watching if you do a follow-up video if the first one falls flat on its ass, okay? Even if it doesn't fall flat on its ass, you're getting diminishing returns with another video. Like, he really should just do this all in one go.
DMs between Pyrocynical and Ivory, Pyrocynical's older messages remained before April the 7th, 2017. So when we cover instances of Ivory having what seems to be one-way roleplay discussion,
maybe pounding or eating him out. TBH, I'd rather just be eating him out than if I think about it. Imagine the size of his cock, too. Okay. Just my Sona surrounded by your fox's fat something and fucking his fuck. And just being blasted by gas. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh, my God. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot.
Oh, I know. Oh,
and,
I know.
Keep in mind they're all after July the 5th, 2017, and that's when Pyrocynical knew that Ivory was 16 at the time when he was.
Right. And yeah, I'm writing the Pyro video for Amos, so like I know of this. It's just like seeing it and reading it out loud is different. Ooh, all that gas. Send that to ooh. All that gas and how she's so big and she has all of the gas underneath the table. Okay, that's great. Thanks.
Or referencing and describing.
Harness it constricting. Ooh, holy shit. That's so nice. I like that massive ass with the uniform on it. Do send. Oh, goddamn. The wrinkles and the probably butt or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Something pouring in as he eats and just burps and farts out more and more. God, dude.
Artwork sent to him, we can easily discern that Pyrocynical had engaged and was complicit in these topics of conversations. This is because by viewing older messages present between...
Oh my God, look at how much censor is shipped in this. Jesus fuck. My ass would kiss you, TBH. I'd eat just to fart it out, and the farts would be really messy as well. Like I'm pushing sweat out of my ass for you to lick clean. Like all the sweat in my ass crack would make my farts really wet, so it would make a long wet fart sound.
Like, can you at least spare the viewer's sanity by not just reading like everything every time?
Okay, you know what? This is my stream. This is my stream. Okay, I will be. I'm just making. They have to see. They have to see. It really does. Just like having your face buried in my fat, sweaty fucking ass. That'd be heavenly, TBH. Okay, all right, awesome. My farts would make a really disgusting squelch sound and leave my... Ah, God, okay. Yeah, that's enough.
Both Nile and Ivory that still remain, Pyrocynical was seen having roleplayed with Ivory and having sent him based content.
Anytime, son. Ooh, woo. Thanks to you, too. It was fun. Oh, I wonder what is that in context to? Maybe them gaming. Okay, I'm not going to be speculative.
Like actually, people are actually telling you to stop reading that shit. We actually want to get to the point.
One person said stop reading it, dude. I'm looking at chat. Do not interfere with my stream.
Okay, vote, guys. So say one if you want him to read all the section messages.
You are lucky to be. No, you are lucky to be here right now. I will kick you. Okay. If you're going to contribute to talking about the video, that's fine. You're not going to control my stream. Thank you. Okay.
Isn't the point of these screenshots being here to actually read them? Why would you want us to skip over your editing?
Thank you. Jesus fucking Christ. Thank you. Where did you find that, fam? Can you link them before I pass out? Oh, shit. Okay. Sure.
The idea that Ivory was just messaging himself in Pyrocynical's DMs is highly illogical, especially when Pyrocynical was seen referencing in his own video that he continued the furry discussion.
Okay, he needs to make it clear what he means when he says, that him messaging himself is highly illogical. Who made that claim? Did Pyro make that claim? Did fans of Pyro make that claim? We need to know, because
it's just in case anybody tries to make that claim.
Okay, that's just in case somebody tries to make that claim. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Questions and based roleplay after he learned of Ivory's age being 16.
In retrospect, I never should have continued the furry stuff with him once I learnt of his age.
However, the messages of Pyrocynicals that remain to this day were sent at a time where it is unproven that Pyrocynical knew Ivory to have been a... Despite numerous people close to Ivory, such as Saku, attesting that Pyrocynical knew Ivory...
That's for instance, Pyro knew Ivory's age when Ivory was 15, but none of us have any proof for that left after he deleted anything. You need to include the full message if you're going to zoom in on it, because it makes it look like That
Ivory's age
doesn't
to
look
be
very
15, along with others at the time. In this video, I wish to solely focus on showing the Discord message exchanges that took place after Pyrocynical was absolutely proven to have known that Ivory was 16 past July the 5th, 2017. Then I wish to show more proof later on down the line that Pyrocynical most likely knew Ivory to have been a long before that day and had continued based topics regardless. Pyrocynical's behavior of repeatedly sending suggestive
You guys can read this yourself since you fucking complain so much. But like, yeah, as you can see, there's clearly more sexual roleplay happening here on 9/11. On 9/11 of all times. Come on, guys. Very disrespectful to our troops and our soldiers and all the people that died.
Very content to Ivory, after claiming to have known his age to be 16, is clearly exhibited over the remainder of 2017 up to 2018, early 2019, when Ivory was 17 and Pyrocynical would have been 21. The argument that Pyrocynical cut off communications with Ivory after knowing his age is completely false, and the idea that Pyrocynical or Ivory did not derive satisfaction from the base content too is factually untrue. But now I wish to quickly focus on Pyrocynical's attempt at word semantics to water down the severity of the situation.
What we were talking about and doing was so far removed from actual, but this never escalated from two morons talking about inhaling furry farts. It was roleplay after all. You're just pretending.
Pyrocynical's attempt at wordplay manipulation to downplay what actually transpired in DMs between him and Ivory serves to make it look less malicious than it actually was, and obfuscates crucial context behind the situation. The idea that it was so far removed from actual, as Niall puts it, changes absolutely nothing about this dynamic. He was a 20-year-old man playing into a 16-year-old fan's fantasies. The defense that it was just roleplay does not fundamentally change the nature or the topic of Pyrocynical's conversations with Ivory. By examining the Discord mobile messages Ivory had with Pyrocynical's Discord account after he had wiped his messages, you were still clearly able to discern.
Oop, that's pretty brand out. Yeah, that's I feel like that's fair to, that's not too much of an assumption. Okay.
And that not only did Pyrocynical consistently share furry content to
good baby or something. I don't even know. Ooh, that's honestly so dynamic. Fart. It's so true.
Ivory throughout the ages of him being 16 and 17, judging by Ivory's responses, but Pyrocynical would also...
I'm not gonna read the whole thing, don't worry. Just looking at it. Sin that too. Okay, yeah.
Roleplayed with Ivory and engaged in those topics of discussions, and also entertained the idea of commissioning art of both his character and Ivory.
Arva said that she'd be drawn to draw thick. Would you want me to commission her for art of our sonas? Maybe your thick sona could be with my thin borbo. So true. I know what that means. The art of my sona under you or something you feel. Okay. I like the fox with the suit one's pretty good. Krumar.
Yo, by the way, Dick is rated into you.
Oh, thanks so much, Dickers.
Say hi.
Really fucking appreciate it. Hi, Dickers gang. We're watching this video. We're 15 minutes in, so...
His character. He actively entertained and engaged with a fantasies and simply brushed it off as specifically furry fart roleplay to undermine the severity of the situation and to make it seem less morally outrageous and more humorous. The fact he systematically expunged his messages with Ivory is also further proof of his guilty conscience coming into play, as he is seen sweeping his messages under the rug. Now, in order to prove that the account that Ivory is seen scrolling through DMs with was the actual Pyrocynical, this can be provided when pasting the exact ID of Pyrocynical's account that owned his Discord server as provided by bot logs. Copy and pasting this ID in a Discord ID resolver website will produce a Discord tag of an account that matches identically to the Discord account that Ivory was seen messaging in the video where he was scrolling through DMs. To argue that these messages were not with the actual Pyrocynical is completely false. Now that we've proven it to have legitimately been Pyrocynical, let's go into detail regarding their messages after Pyrocynical had claimed to have originally known that Ivory was 16 as of July the 5th, 2017. First situation to observe is by examining remnants of the Discord messages sent on the 8th of September 2017. Ivory is seen in these DMs engaging in RP with Pyrocynical, also known as roleplay, and was going into detail about his fantasies, about wanting his character to engage with Pyrocynical's Fox sonar. Such topics Ivory brought up include and these conversations were not shut down by
the clicks. The clicks. I know you already know about the clicks, but holy shit, bro.
Pyro whatsoever. And judging by the fact that Ivory was seen continuing, it was evident that Pyrocynical was complicit in the facilitation of these messages and topic of conversation. By seeing Ivory state true and ooh, it was evident that Pyrocynical was engaging, and Ivory was responding to his messages. So best case scenario already looks dire for Niall. He was essentially 20 years old, engaging in a roleplay with a 16-year-old boy, where the topics of
okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about with trimming the fat. Like, he has repeated that probably 6 times now, right? Like, he doesn't need to continuously say that again and again and again, okay? Like, that's just true, okay? Like, there's moments that can be cut out of this, and that where he can reduce the runtime and he can add back onto it with going into some of this stuff a little bit more.
Theoretical acts were introduced. These message exchanges were also followed by Pyrocynical most likely asking Ivory if he wished to see more furry following these based conversations that they just had, to which Ivory obliged. This was then followed by what we can understand to be numerous intervals where Pyrocynical had sent furry to Ivory, of course before...
I mean, that's a little bit speculative, right? Like, I mean, it's fine to say that he, like, sent... like NSFW like throughout this, right? You don't have to go into every time that he did it. Like, that's just stupid point.
All his messages were systematically wiped. We can gather the fact that these instances were inherently as well due to Ivory going into detail about the images, with the conversation then continuing to mutual based discussion once again. Another such example takes place on August the 4th, 2018. Ivory, who was 17 at the time, is seen stating that he personally to be furry content that Pyrocynical...
There was art of somebody's persona that you sent that you nutted to for a few times. Waist deep in their ass fat. Awesome.
Openly provided him, describing in detail the nature of the content and stating how it happened forever ago, meaning that Ivory could have been 16 or even younger at the time of this incident. Shortly after this, Ivory had asked Pyrocynical if he ever to artwork of his persona, and it is relatively easy to decipher that Niall most likely stated yes, because by analyzing archived message logs provided by Ivory, he's then seen replying after with, "Wait, what, you did? God bless." It's understandable why Pyrocynical proceeded to cherry-pick certain Discord logs in his response video, because I'm certain if people knew that he possibly derived satisfaction from content based off a character while he was an adult, or that he gave to Ivory to which Ivory admitted he derived from, that may not give him the best look optically.
True.
The topic of 2 was also brought up on the 23rd of September 2017, where it is easy to discern that Pyrocynical was engaging with Ivory, in reference to him stating that he hasn't to any furry chart as of currently, with Ivory then being seen having sent a message saying shush in reference to Pyrocynical's deleted messages in response. The distribution of material between Niall and Ivory, as well as the facilitation of conversations, was prevalent and was continuous. It wasn't an isolated incident, it was a long pattern of behavior, and Ivory attests he wasn't the only one who Niall did this to, which is an objectively true statement. My document highlights and substantiated allegations of numerous other victims, in which I will cover in my next videos, which all show a glaring and concerning pattern of behavior of people who were once close to Pyrocynical when they were being subject to Pyrocynical allegedly engaged.
It's amazing. How old are you? I'm 15. Why is your pick me with Ablo body pillow? It's not even thick. When I was around 15 to 16, I had sexual conversations with Pyrocynical, a popular YouTuber. He was well aware of my age. I remember telling him more than once he did in different calls. We engaged in sexual activities like discussing fetishes on his old deleted Discord. Can I ask, why is this person's like entire profile censored if like they came out publicly about this?
Yeah, isn't that a Twitter? Isn't that like a Twitter screenshot?
Because Parlo wants to keep them private.
Why, if he was public about it?
Well, they said themselves they want to keep it private, but because they deactivated too.
They deactivated, so keep them okay, sure. I guess.
Engaging inappropriately with them and posting material to them. It wasn't one person, it wasn't two, it wasn't even three. It was a consistent pattern of more than 10 of
Abortion ASMR, 15-year-old girl. Justin assault, 16-year-old minor. Mubos Leo, 14-year-old, Pink, 15 to 16-year-old boy. I mean, we need to see the evidence behind these before you just, like, you know, throw them in like that. I don't know.
These allegations pertaining to...
You're not on the document, but it's what.
Well, they're on the document, but we're not watching the document. Like, nobody's looking at the 300-page document, dude. Like, you have to understand that. We're watching the video, right? Pyrocynical sent porn to another 15-year-old. Okay, so there's 4 more examples, but again, like, we need the fucking evidence behind them, right?
This video is 2 hours long. It should not be a big difficulty to get everything into the video.
Exactly. Like, it's nobody wants to look at a 300-page doc, man. Like, that's just the truth, and nobody is going to look at that, especially when this video exists. This video should act as a, like, you know, what's it called? A thing that serves to explain the whole doc, right? I'm losing my words there, but you know what I mean.
13 days after Pyrocynical claimed to have known Ivory was 16, message logs provided show Ivory having described in detail.
So that's Ivory talking about actual...
One of the instances of furry content that Pyrocynical had just sent to him.
Okay, yeah, that's them talking about it'd be nice to be cold and... Okay, yeah.
Followed up by Ivory stating he liked the second furry image the most, perhaps in response to Pyrocynical being intrigued
yes, I will remove all the clicks in our final project.
On September 11th, 2017, Ivory is seen having posted furry images directly to Pyrocynical.
I love how shiny they all are. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
And plus I've only been like this like at that point I was really only into editing for like only 8 months actually when this shit was almost completed.
That's fine. That's fine. You know.
Yeah. I was only really experienced for it only 8 months, and that's probably the main reason why some of you might think that editing shit is horrible.
Okay, yeah. I don't worry about what chat's saying. Don't worry about that.
Commenting on how shiny the characters look. This was then followed by Ivory stating, "That's pretty good," and "ooh," to which we are easily able to decipher that Pyrocynical had originally sent Ivory suggestive and furry.
We don't know how long those two things, like, this could be reaction to the same thing, right? Like, it's just fucking stupid to be like, oh, it was definitely 2 images. Like,
content back to him, which warranted Ivory making that response. This then prompted Ivory to make inappropriate comments in reference to the content which was just provided to him. Ivory was then also seen going into more detail about the content that Pyrocynical had provided him, making comments about the parts shown in the content and talking about the present, with Ivory also making a comment about how he wished to bury his face in them. On September the 15th, Ivory and Pyrocynical were seen engaging in topics of discussion to do with what type of fat furry art they liked the most, with Ivory reacting to art Niall had provided him at age 16, sharing numerous Twitter links to W content that he personally admired as well, reciprocally. This was followed 2 days later on September the 17th, with Ivory seen stating, "do show" to Pyrocynical, and then "ooh" in response to Niall being presumed to have sent him more furry content, to which Ivory is seen stating he likes the last instance the most. Ivory is then seen reciprocally sending furry imagery back to Pyrocynical, mentioning how he likes the harness present in the image. What transpires next is Ivory going into an detail about the fat present in the images, with Pyrocynical having been believed to have been complicit in the topic of conversation due to Ivory stating "ooh" in direct response to Pyrocynical's purged messages. Ivory is seen mentioning and fantasizing about the sweat, the mask, and the weight, all factors that played directly into his in-real-life fantasies. Ivory was even seen stating to Pyrocynical, "It's fine, man, I like seeing it anyways," most likely in reference to Pyrocynical continuing the fluidity of this conversation by sharing furry-based art to him, with Ivory once again being seen going into detail about what his furry character would be doing to Pyrocynical's character, to which these conversations were not shut down, but simply just instead allowed to continue by Pyrocynical himself. During December the 29th, 2017, once again it can be deciphered that Niall sent more content, with Ivory making another reply in reference to receiving the image. Ivory was then seen responding with certain that he was interested in, most likely in reply to Pyrocynical having asked specific questions in a now deleted message.
No. Too speculative, Parlo. Stop doing this. Like, he's just, he could literally be talking about a particular image. Like, if there is at least one more scenario that could be plausible as to why somebody is saying something, you cannot fucking definitively say that somebody said something. You have to fucking stop. You have to stop.
Ivory highlighted his interest in which is a homo media and manga in which is often, followed by him also stating that he likes and being quote-unquote. Now, another large piece of misinformation spread by people who attempt to defend Niall's behavior is that apparently Pyrocynical and Ivory had originally met up in an 18+ roleplay Discord server. Ardent defenders of Pyrocynical utilized this excuse to play into the idea that Pyrocynical must have been originally under the idea that Ivory was an adult at the start of their messages, because Ivory was believed to be present in an adult space, giving anyone the reasonable belief to assume that he was an adult. However, this claim turned out to be completely untrue. Not only is no proof ever provided of this, but in a document I have compiled myself, it covers extensively how Pyrocynical and Ivory originally met up on November 2016, and a YouTuber named Solid Shibe's Discord server who was 15 to 16, close in age to Ivory and were both in fact friends, and Solid Shibe was a close associate to Pyrocynical too. Numerous archive screenshots were provided of Ivory being present in this Discord server before they originally got in contact with Pyrocynical, even being allowed to have admin permissions in a certain instance, and the server, while containing edgy humor and examples of inappropriate content, was ultimately expected regardless because the server contained many people who behaved extremely edgy for attention in 2016. Even other old members of Solid Shibe's Discord server, such as Krasputis, had also attested that Ivory met up with Pyrocynical in this specific Discord server.
All you have to do, other than this part's good, like saying that like the other people attested to the fact that they met there, like just say the Solid Shibe's 15, and so it can't be an 18+ Discord server. Just like, again, trim the fat, Parlo.
The idea that the server was completely and unilaterally is categorically untrue, as well as considering the fact that Solid Shibe, the owner of it...
What?
Hold on. Maybe, what if it could be an 18+ server and the owner happened to be like under 18? I mean that is possible.
What? What are you talking about? What does that mean?
That's not under 18 then.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. Why would there be an 18+ server with a minor as the owner? That's not 18+ then.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a fucking. It's not 18+ if the owner is not 18. Like that is like intuitively true. Okay, like you don't need to like over-explain this shit. Like you don't have to treat like people watching this are not complete fucking retards. Okay, like they're not. No person in their right mind would say, well, just because he was 15 doesn't mean that there was not a 18+ server. So like that's just not gonna happen. You have to imagine like the way people are going to respond to stuff, and that's just like that's not plausible.
Was widely known to have been a at the time. Commentary YouTuber Diesel Patches in 2020 was the original person who brought up the idea that Niall and Ivory could have met in an 18+ Discord server in his initial video covering the allegations. However, in his follow-up video, he went back on the claim, highlighting that it was only a speculative remark in which he brought up in order to play devil's advocate in Pyrocynical's favor, and prefaced the fact that people should not take it as face value.
Before I talk about the new updated version of the Pyrocynical allegations, I need to address a comment I made in my last video. So on my last Pyro video, I made the assumption that Pyro and Ivory came from an 18+ community. The reason why this is an issue is because some people treated that as a fact because I didn't clarify enough that my comment was merely an assumption. The reason I assumed this is because I wanted to give Pyro the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't matter anymore because after looking at the new updated allegations, it's pretty clear that he's in the wrong. So again, please refrain from using that as the #1 defense for Pyro. As far as I know, there isn't any proof that Pyro and Ivory came from an 18+ server.
Unfortunately, due to his initial video getting over 600,000 views, many people ended up believing this to be completely true and didn't bother watching his second video clarifying the situation. So they went around spreading this story without verifying the authenticity of the claim, and it is still being used to this day as some legitimate defense for Niall. Another claim used was that Ivory initially lied about his age to Pyrocynical. Now, not only did the original people who claim that Ivory lied about his age go back on their narrative, but Pyrocynical himself is seen attesting in his own response video that Ivory never lied about his age to him. He only affirms that he never knew that Ivory was at the start of their conversations.
Me including the anecdotal evidence led to the belief that Ivory lied about his age. That is never a claim I have made that he has done to me. I've only said that I did not.
Take 9 check message.
He never once disclosed the fact that he was 15 at the time these exchanges commenced. What?
I was told to tell you to make the chat sub only now.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I don't know if I can do that, like, in post, like, while the stream's going on.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. You're in my channel. Just figure it out.
Know his age at 15.
However, as we'll discuss later, Ivory has sent a plethora of messages clearly building the case that he was to Pyrocynical far before Pyro claims to have known on July the 5th, 2017. Now, in reference to the term thick content that is often referenced by Niall and Ivory alike, the idea that the thick, furry content that Pyrocynical and Ivory consistently posted to one another was not overtly or played into both their fantasies is simply misguided. Ivory was even seen himself stating that since a certain artist was
Okay, see, something like this. This point doesn't even need to be there. We already established the fact that they sent each other, like, sexual shit. So, like, who cares if, like, don't even make this point about the thick stuff. It's already been established that they sent each other sexual stuff back and forth, right? So this doesn't even need to be there. This is redundant.
Good at creating content, they would probably be good at creating thick content as well. Ivory was even seen in early 2019 stating he's not been sent in a while, and then was seen specifically requesting for thick content. Thick art, as they refer to it as, directly correlated to content, and they made it no secret. The art is created specifically to cater towards one's fantasies and to elicit from viewing it, and many people in 2020 simply did not understand this at the time, hence why this behavior was overlooked and was simply not called out.
5 minutes
then.
chat.
This correlates directly to August the 5th, 2018, where Ivory is seen bringing up that an artist was down to create suggestive
they have to be subscribed for 5 minutes. If anything happens, I'll just turn on
Ivory is seen stating to Pyrocynical that his thick fox character could be with his thin Borbo sonar, and Borbo, for those of you who are unaware, is essentially in reference to Ivory's bird sonar, in which he is seen referencing to Pyrocynical beforehand. Now, once again, despite
when we already have it established that they've had multiple sexual messages back and forth, we don't need to go into this, like, Yapaholics Anonymous thing, okay? Like, we don't need all of this. Like, we've already established that they've sent sexual messages back and forth repeatedly and that they are very explicit and gross, right? Like, this is just Yapaholics, okay?
Pyrocynical having mass wiped his messages, it was clear that he was complicit in this topic of conversation due to Ivory's responses and the...
Go ahead.
What I will say is that this will probably last for another 20 minutes.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, see, okay, so this doesn't... Well, okay, so this is... I'm going to put it a little bit harshly, but, like, this is actually good news. Because this doesn't need to be this long, okay? And there's a lot of fat that can be trimmed. And that means there's more room for him to talk about these other allegations, like these newer allegations and stuff like that, like the stuff that I was saying. Why don't we have detail on that, right? Like, there's no reason for this stuff to be like 20 minutes long. We get it. We already have had like multiple minutes of examples of this stuff. And if people really, really want to, like, this is why the doc exists. If people really want, like, every single example, they can use the doc. But otherwise, this is just this is the word I was looking for, a companion piece to the doc, right? You don't have to use every single example. What you do is you show, like, if you're showing a pattern of behavior and you've already established that, you don't need to show it for 20 minutes.
Fluidity of the conversation. Ivory is seen stating yes, clearly in response to removed messages of Pyro's. Ivory is seen bringing up the idea of Pyrocynical's fat character sitting on top of his own character, and Ivory is seen posting a pre-existing suggestive furry image as reference, in which I will be censoring. Ivory prefaces the fact that he would only wish to commission the image if Pyrocynical was comfortable with the idea, to which we can decipher that Pyrocynical was complicit in agreeing to, as Ivory was then seen stating hell yeah.
That is so speculative. Again, you need to cut... Parlo needs to cut all of these speculation things, too. Like, this is... There's already enough here. Don't give this guy ammo. Don't give this guy ammo to be able to say, like, oh, well, you know, like, that's actually not what I was saying in response to that. Like, it's stupid argument to make.
A deleted message of Niles, and then proceeded to ask more details about how the drawing should look like, bringing up the proposition of Pyrocynical's sonar to have food smeared on the character's and dripping onto his bird's.
Did he just censor the word gut? Who cared? What?
On his face. Of course, this is extremely degenerate and inappropriate art.
Okay, pause. The reason why everything's censored so much is because of the child safety strikes, basically. So like we have this sort of paranoia that if we don't censor certain words, the video is gonna get limited out.
Yeah, I get words like explicit and sexual and like fucking like porn and stuff like that, but it's like fucking gut, dude. Like I don't know. I think that's a little bit obnoxious. I don't think you have to censor the word gut.
That obviously elicits and derives for Ivory. This can be explained because Ivory expressed to Niall back on July the 4th, 2017, that his own partner when he was 15 would sit on his lap and it would be extremely intimidating. Clearly this art played directly into Ivory's real-life fantasies, and Niall knew this, but was yet more than willing to engage with this while he was 21 years of age. Ivory is then seen discussing the commission price in regards to Ari, and then asking Pyrocynical if he wanted to commission the image or not, to which we can assume that Pyrocynical stated yes.
Okay, this is the first time where I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Should I tell you you're doing it or not? Hell yeah. Yeah, that is intuitively fair, okay? But like, these other ones where if there is ever another option that is plausible, do not make it. Do not make that a claim. If there's ever another option that is plausible, do not make the claim. But if it's something like this where it is very, very clearly like direct response, then sure.
Which prompted Ivory to then be seen stating hell yeah in response. This was then followed by Ivory on the 23rd of October 2018, showing the sketch and the progression of the furry image created by Ari, meaning that Pyrocynical was completely complicit in the conversation and agreed to the creation of a furry image involving his character and a character. The fact that this went overlooked for so long is insane to process.
So he I don't know why he did this, but he kind of like hinted that this was something that could have happened for multiple minutes. What he could do and what he should do is just talk about the fact that this happened like he is now, and like eliminate all that other stuff being like, well, like he could have done this possibly. Like, since we know that was commissioned, since we have the whole like hell yeah thing, that's enough. You just show that, you move on.
And this is more than enough proof to show how deep the degeneracy goes in regards to Pyrocynical's dynamic with Ivory, who was still on May the 8th, 2018, Ivory was seen referencing a video that Pyrocynical had sent to him in DMs of content, to which Ivory directly addresses as quote-unquote. Ivory then goes on to make an comment in reference to the content, talking about the fat showing softness, when Niall is presumed to have asked him what his favorite aspect of the content was. And just to reiterate it once...
I don't want to say this every single time, and I'm not going to pause next time. I'm just going to say it. Don't. Assumption.
Again, it is illegal in the state of Pennsylvania to send content to a... This can be assumed as to why piracy...
It's already bad enough that he sent him porn. What Ivory called gay porn. That's already bad enough. Okay? There you go.
Pyrocynical is never seen addressing these instances of content he sent to Ivory in his response video, or even going into detail about the content he sent regardless. In two other instances highlighted in my document too, Ivory is seen in August 2017 when he was 16.
Next video, you reach that. Okay.
Stating directly to Niall that the video he sent was nice, going into detail about the content that he just received. Pyrocynical in these instances had sent content relating to a he knew the age of, which is the and
sounds okay. Yeah, it's fart fetish. We get it.
On August the 20th on the same month, Ivory was seen bringing up the theoretical of his bird sonar being lodged in Pyrocynical's characters, followed by Pyrocynical sending based content to Ivory once again, with Ivory stating the first instance was his favorite, going into detail about the and how it was slipping off in the first image. It can be discerned that Ivory had stated this because Pyrocynical would have asked what image was his favorite and for what reason, once again prying into a and fantasies, and this was not the first time that Pyrocynical had allegedly sent furry content.
The prying into the fantasies is assumptive.
And had asked them if they liked the content too, as he had also allegedly done this to a 15-year-old girl on Skype in...
Okay. Sharif, abortion ASMR, 15-year-old girl. Sheriff, 2016. Okay. This is good. Where'd you get it from? Duh. Nah, but she likes it. I can find it even thicker if you want. Share. The size of the gut is real nice. It looks so swishy. And are you into that kind of stuff? I take it. Yeah, it's cute. Oh, okay. So the person's username is abortion ASMR. Got it. Got it.
Late 2016. This is a repetitive pattern of behavior that the online community has sat idly by and allowed to continue. On the same day, August the 20th, Ivory had also brought up the idea of flying down to the UK to have dinner and hang out with his friends, to which he asked Pyrocynical if he wished to come too. Ivory is then seen stating, "Oop, I don't know honestly, and I have no idea when," in reference to what month they are planning to do this, with Ivory then seen stating, "But probably after December 2017. Ivory is then seen stating, "Hell yeah," in reference to Pyrocynical most likely agreeing to the proposition. This was also conveniently completely overlooked in the original allegations surrounding Niall, but what is clear by these logs was that Pyrocynical was seemingly comfortable with the idea of meeting Ivory, who was 16, along with his friends, while he himself was 20. Pyrocynical is then seen allegedly asking Ivory if he wants to see what we can assume to be more furry content, to which Ivory states, "Do send gamer," followed by Ivory then stating, "Ooh, I like the sounds to be honest." It is extremely evident from these archived messages that Niall sent some form of video to Ivory.
Okay.
Ivory is seen on...
We already have the example of inciting porn. God damn.
October the 21st, 2017, having asked Pyrocynical if he wished to see some furry content that he had, to which Ivory is then seen stating "hell yeah" in response, and is then seen posting. Pyrocynical not only openly posted furry to a he knew the age of throughout 2017 and 2018, but he openly this content from the same too, as discerned by these messages. On April the 14th, 2018, Ivory was even seen messaging to Niall, "Do you remember how we were talking about art of your thick fox character my haunter?" in reference to his own Sona. So as clearly established in these messages, according to Ivory himself in 2018, Pyrocynical and him had openly discussed the idea of possibly commissioning furry of their characters.
We've already
engaging
covered this.
In acts. Ivory...
It's just a different Sona now. This isn't anything
even
new.
Followed up by highlighting that he knows an artist who'd be capable of commissioning the art piece, openly highlighting, however, that he would only have the art commissioned if Pyrocynical was on board with it, to which we can assume that Pyrocynical was not at the current time. However, a conversational shift is observed that led to Ivory finding amusement in something that Niall had said, to which Ivory is then seen posting a furry image of Pyrocynical's first Sona engaging in acts with Roadhog from Overwatch. The image was inherently... and how Ivory even knew about this image existing is a completely different question. Ivory was seen perhaps posting it in reference to Pyrocynical originally bringing it up. The fact that Ivory...
Stop! Objection, Your Honor. Assumptive.
Stated that Niall and him were discussing the plausible scenario of having ever commissioned artwork of their characters together is already a massive red flag on its own. You see, Pyrocynical would want you all to believe that the dynamic between him and Ivory was merely just furry fantasy roleplay. But no, this was all a comprehensive years-long dynamic of them sharing in detail content and information pertaining to each other's and preferences. Pyrocynical, the adult in this situation, was complicit in the facilitation of these conversations and played directly into an fan's messages. That is indefensible, immoral, and flagrantly disgusting. No amount of comment purging can expunge how disgusting it was for him to have his power and influence the behavior of a fan of his who was significantly younger than himself. The collective stigmatization and silencing of Ivory, despite him being objectively right about everything Niall had done, is disgusting. Every person who has put down Ivory, brushed off his experiences, or blamed him for having engaged with Pyrocynical to begin with, all have served to silence and belittle a victim and victim blame, doing immense damage to the situation and only playing into Niall's benefit and allowing him to get away with it. On September 9th, 2017, Niall was seen instigating a topic of conversation to do with commissioning furry artwork of both his character and Ivory's character, prompting Ivory to have stated, "Oh yeah, how would I commission it?" followed by, or should I just say a big old fox boyo, in reference to how the image would be drawn, and obviously playing into the inflation Pyrocynical had. Ivory is then seen showing his Twitter messages with an artist named Talker, showing that he asked for a private commission. Ivory is then seen discussing the idea of having a blob version of Niall's character, in which he sends reference images to the artist, with Ivory specifying that he wishes to use his horn persona since he doesn't have a proper reference sheet for his bird character yet, and his horn persona is a character he has shown to Niall a lot, even including the W artwork he commissioned of it in the past. Ivory is seen highlighting that the artwork would cost $38, and Pyrocynical had even offered to pay for it, as judging by the flow of the conversation, where Ivory is seen stating, quote-unquote, "I paid anyway, so it's fine. No, it's fine, I already did. Ah!" Showing that Pyrocynical was more than comfortable to pay for commission artwork of both his and a character together in a suggestive manner. Ivory was then seen stating, "Yeah, he said he would keep it private." The start of the sentence, "yeah," clearly shows that Niall had initially asked Ivory if the commission would remain private himself, prompting Ivory to affirm to him that it would. Ivory then shows the Twitter messages between him and the artist, showing that he sent a reference sheet of Pyrocynical's characters which contained very content to the artist, followed by him asking Torcan if he was a private commissioner, to which Torcan stated he could make the art privately. It is abundantly obvious that Niall did
Pick one of these examples and use it, and then say that there's multiple other examples in your doc. That's all you gotta do.
not want this art to be public knowledge, so it would not be traced back to him. He was fully aware of how problematic it would all be for him if it was revealed that he was a 20-year-old man having a 16-year-old commissioned art of both their characters together. Now, Pyrocynical's main defense for how he didn't know Ivory's age, despite Ivory making his age publicly known on Twitter several times, stating that he was 15, was the fact that he was not on Twitter during the same time period as he was suspended, so he could not have possibly seen the tweets. He deliberately took the plausible deniability defense and waged the situation on a factor that is unprovable to the average viewer.
They then provide a list of Ivory stating his age multiple times on Twitter, so if I'm so sure that I didn't know he was 15, how would I have missed this? This is something I said in my original Reddit statement. He never once disclosed the fact that he was 15 at the time these exchanges commenced. He didn't include his age in his bio until he was 16, but I was not on Twitter between the 28th of December 2016 until the 29th of June 2017, as I was suspended.
However, this defense he used is immediately discredited because, as seen in the video of the archived Discord messages between both Ivory and Pyrocynical, Pyrocynical is seen linking Ivory's Twitter account in reference to his newest tweet, showing screenshots of him and Niall having played Dark Souls together, and this transpired on April the 5th, 2017. This not only proves that Pyrocynical was actively monitoring Ivory's newest tweets at the time, but it also proves how he was engaging with his account during the time period he claims he was simply not on Twitter.
Good point.
I find it funny, like, they're acting like I'm hiding something, when ironically, that's exactly what they're doing here.
The idea that he himself is not hiding anything is extremely ironic, as he not only systematically purged all his Discord messages with Ivory to remove any incriminating evidence, but he also never highlighted once.
He has to correct that because people can use that. Like, I get what he means, but like he needs to say, like, he deleted a lot of his Discord messages because he didn't delete all of them.
His response video that he engaged with and saw Ivory's Twitter account during the exact same time where he claims that he couldn't have, as he was still suspended.
You already made the point.
Instead, he chose to openly lie to his fanbase, inferring that because he was suspended, he simply couldn't access Twitter itself, and
Parlo is the exact same way in this guy's uploads as he is in his fucking, like, you know, whenever he's live, okay? Whenever he's on my live streams, he is a fucking yapper, man. He needs to figure out how to be concise. Like, all of this, you don't have to keep on reiterating the same thing that you just fucking said, okay?
Ergo, never saw Ivory's tweets at the time, clearly stating his age to be 15.
Your chat is bugged out for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Oh, okay. It's bugged.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, nobody can type, essentially?
Well, they can. Well, what happens is they can type, but your messages just aren't seen by anybody but you. Even the moderator's messages, so it has nothing to do with the sub only mode. It's literally just straight bugged.
Well, that's fine because we're not.
Even my
chat.
messages aren't going through.
That's weird though.
Rated in the archive Discord DMs, Ivory is seen forwarding a Twitter account dedicated to posting cute pictures of foxes to Pyrocynical, in which he thanks Ivory for on March 9th, 2017. Again, Pyrocynical was free to access and view this account, and the idea he would not is simply misguided. On the 31st of March 2017, Ivory is seen linking a furry Twitter account, stating that the thick art they create is so good, to which Pyrocynical was seen attesting that it was as well, implying that he has seen and engaged with this account before. These were all distinct instances of Pyrocynical being personally linked Twitter accounts, accessing Twitter, or engaging with Twitter accounts in a time frame he claims he couldn't have as he was suspended. In past videos Pyrocynical made during the same time period where he claims he wasn't on Twitter too, he referenced using the Twitter platform numerous times to get information or to find tweets of people he was looking for, once again contradicting his main defense. Here's a few notable instances.
My official Twitter, Chrome Clan YT. The only tweet I could find that had any relevance. Guys, I go for a few days on Holy Day, so I can't upload. I'm sorry. Have a nice day, guys. That was his last tweet, so I can only make out that he went to heaven. I don't know why. If you go on YouTube's Twitter, their bio says, lol, watch this. I don't know why. I think they got hacked and they were just like, nah, it's funny. Leave it. Lol, watch this.
Most ironically, however, is when in 2018, Pyrocynical describes what it's like when you're suspended on Twitter. He attests himself that you're still able to see all of Twitter, giving an analogy that it's like being trapped in a glass cage. He only claims you are not able to engage with accounts in terms of messaging, liking, or retweeting. However, you can still get notifications and look at tweets yourself. And 2018 Twitter suspensions acted exactly like 2017 Twitter account suspensions.
I think easily the worst thing about being suspended is the fact that you're almost locked in a cage with a nice glass mirror so you can see all of Twitter. You can't tweet anything, you can't post anything, you can't interact with anyone, you can't even see your DMs anymore, but you're allowed to see your notifications. And you know what happens when you get suspended? You will see brainlets, just absolute brainlets, arguing over a post you made like 2 years ago, mate. And they are still going to this day.
So the entire plausible deniability defense Pyrocynical has used has completely fell flat, and has been proven to have been a lie. He is seen openly using Twitter during this time period, and even engaging with Ivory's account and actively monitoring it, despite having been suspended. And if Pyrocynical is willing to create such an elaborate lie such as this, while attempting to pin it as an objective fact, what else has he lied about?
Ivory himself did not disclose to me directly that he was 15.
Even worse for Niall were the numerous instances where Ivory highlighted that he was at school, far before Pyrocynical claimed to have known Ivory was 16 and on July the 5th, 2017, when he posted a Twitter link with his age being present in the bio. Ivory is specifically seen stating that he was attending classes and that he didn't want to be late for school, and even in another massive instance that his mother doesn't want to get him any presents until his school year is over. That is a distinct red flag, and it clearly indicates that Ivory never was alluding to being an adult in any instance. He is directly telling Niall here that he attends school classes and that his mother is restrictive on him getting presents, highlighting Ivory's dependence on his parents still and his lack of independence himself. You would have thought that if you, the viewer, were theoretically messaging someone that you believe to be above the age of 18, however you...
Okay, we're having this, like, fucking insane chat issue, okay? I think we're gonna restart real quick. We're gonna restart, okay? And if it doesn't fix it, then we'll say fuck it and keep on going. But let's
restarting.
Restart.
Make sure you guys come back after.
Yeah, come back. It's literally just
page.
yeah, just fucking refresh it. It's gonna be right back, okay? All right.
Now, Pyrocynical standing. I mean, in your opinion.
I mean, I think that he's like a gross, irresponsible freak, right?
Don't start.